kids, I'm just a mom, and I'm here to share with you my story taken from the Bible. My people and I live on this most beautiful land ever in this world, a land full of green pasture with rivers running through it, just perfect for us shepherds. The king loved us and allowed us to take care of all the country's livestock. Our families and animals prospered greatly under his protection. But recently, a new king came to the throne, and he didn't like us and felt threatened by our numbers. We tried to assure him that we are peaceful people, but he didn't trust us at all. Maybe it was because other countries were closing in that blinded him, or maybe because we weren't exactly his people, the locals, that he couldn't tolerate any potential threats from within his land. We understand, but his approach was way too drastic, and it changed our lives overnight. One day they came and took our men by force. They moved them away and made them perform slave labor. They made them work and work and work to build the king's new cities. During this whole time, they were oppressed and treated harshly. Meanwhile, us women, children, and seniors had to survive by taking on the roles of the men to produce enough for the family. It was physically very hard. I, like many of my friends, truly miss my husband and wish to see him more often. A few times in a year, in between building projects, just felt like it wasn't enough. Even though it was very hard for everybody, the Lord is generous and we continue to grow in numbers. When my friends and I became pregnant and babies were born, our community was filled with joy and new life. Yes, life is hard, but we felt hope, and that was enough to help us persevere. It went on for a few years until the king noticed our population, and he felt threatened again. This time, he ordered 2 of our midwives, responsible for delivering babies, to kill all baby boys once they are born. What a cruel command! I can't believe such heartless people exist in this world. But thankfully, Shifra and Pua feared God more than this crazy king. They secretly taught us women how to help each other during childbirth, while they often arrived late. This way, when the king questioned them for not carrying out his orders, they could reply, "Hebrew women are strong, and they often gave birth before they could arrive." Personally, I feared for their lives, but God protected them and even blessed them with families of their own. However, this incident did not stop the king. This time, he commanded to all his nations that while every girl may live, all Hebrew boys that are born must be thrown into the river. That day, soldiers went through all the houses. Any baby boys found were taken and thrown into the Nile River. Shrieks of terror filled the land as moms went berserk when their babies were ripped out of their arms. Children and elders cried helplessly. Our community, everybody, was thrown into complete chaos. As for my young daughter, son, and myself, we were in great fear. I myself am pregnant and will be due soon. But we all know that the soldiers would come back for another round of population control. What should we do? From that day on, my mind went into overdrive. I thought of as many ways as I could to escape this fate if my baby turned out to be a boy. I prayed and prayed to God endlessly because there was no way to escape with 2 young children and a newborn. The moment of truth came. After much birth pain and as the child was coming out, I was told that it was a baby boy. My heart burned with anger. God, why must you bring sorrow into my life? Why must this child be born just to die? But when the child was placed into my arms, an overwhelming peace took over my whole body. He was a very fine boy, very good looking, especially the eyes. His sister and brother also loves him a lot. It's like his cuteness just makes time stop. For 3 months we hid him and enjoyed every moment with him. But the time had come where the baby wants more than to just eat and sleep. I was getting flustered again because soldiers had already searched neighboring communities and will be stopping by ours anytime soon. So I made a papyrus basket and coated it with tar and pitch. At least the baby has a chance of living a little longer when placed into this floating basket. If nothing dangerous takes it, he has at least 4 hours until he starts feeling hungry. Oh my, I can't even imagine the suffering ahead. God, as much as I am angry in how you have forgotten about your people, I have no choice but to lift this baby boy's fate into your hands. At least don't let him die before my eyes. After seeing the baby float down the Nile River, I walked home and cried. Thankfully, my 2 older kids were out, probably with their friends, that I was able to process my feelings, my broken heart, without them worrying. When it was mealtime, Aaron came back and asked where was Big Sis and the baby. I burst into tears at the mentioning of the baby. It scared Aaron, and he held on to me in great panic, hoping that his sister, Miriam, would come back to save me from crying. At our darkest hour of tears, with no hope of comfort, Miriam ran into the house. Mom, come with me. The baby needs you to feed him. What? Miriam, what are you talking about? Pulling me out of the house, Miriam said, Mom, I secretly followed you from a distance to the Nile River and followed the baby as he floated away. Hurry, the princess, Pharaoh's daughter, drew him out of the water and liked our baby. She said I could find a nursing Hebrew woman to feed him and she'll even pay you for it. Hurry, come on, the baby is hungry. I couldn't believe what I heard. The Lord has not forgotten us at all. Not only did he save the baby's life, but he is bringing him back into my arms and with royal protection. Praise the Lord. Great is thy faithfulness. Never again will I ever doubt God's love for us.